This is the Paranologies Poltercom. It's the very first motorized sweep, intelligent spirit, ghost box, whatever you want to call it, put out for the ITC community. It has a lot of features I'm going to go over with you. First off, this took about 4 months to design. It's completely 3D printed with a lot of little custom touches here, like the copper. We bent the copper, we flared it out. These are actually part of the antenna. All these little pieces, the knobs, they're all 3D printed. The sweep knob is 3D printed. I'll kind of give you a little turn around here so everybody can see the design. Now this particular box is the second one ever built. The first one is actually one that I made for myself that was just a test, but this is what the design is going to look for when we put it up for sale to the public. This is it. This one's actually already sold. We have a lot of them in pre-order right now that we're going to start building. They do take about 30 hours to print. And they also take about 10 hours to completely put it together. This particular version, this is actually simulated bronze. This is not real bronze. This is plastic. And what we do is we actually we have some ways to make it look like real bronze. So it does look like real bronze, but this is actually simulated. We have the very first one that was built is actually made out of 90% bronze, because you can't print 100% bronze on a 3D printer. But they are customizable, and we'll talk about that later. First off, we'll go off some of the features. This is the main power. We'll turn it on real quick. Now, when you first turn it on, it's going to manually sweep over to the right. This is kind of a 0 point, because this is a manually tuned radio. But it also is motorized sweep as well. So I'm going to turn it on and kind of go over all the features. Right now it's on. This is the main volume right here. This is your treble and bass. Now all the basic boxes are going to have this look to it. It's going to have the motorized sweep, manual sweep, the bass, the treble, and the volume. It also will have an external antenna, which I'll raise up. That way, if you're in an area that doesn't come in very well, you can have the external antenna. So when you first turn it on, you have your main power. Then you have your motorized sweep button. That's this right in the middle. You push it and it'll start the motorized sweep, and then you have your volume. You can hear that it's on now. So I'll go ahead and turn the motorized sweep button on. You can see that the lights will start flashing at the bottom, indicating the sweep speed. I'll turn the volume up just a little bit. I'm not going to do a session just for this, but there's plenty of videos that we can do later for session. This box is very loud. It has stereo speakers. There's one on each side. Let's give an example. Has a very unique sound to it. This particular box right here is adjustable. The person that ordered this, they went ahead and got the backside has a lot of different settings here. I'll go over those as well. But yeah, this has the effects processor, because a lot of people like the echo and reverb. I particularly like the echo, because then if you get a response, it will repeat it for you. And this has a lot of settings with echo, reverb, and everything like that. However, that's not going to... The original, or the standard box will not come with the back. So I just want to go over the standard features right now, and then we'll go into that. Right now, so basically when you first get it, let's start over. When you first get it, it's going to reset to your 0 point all the way to the right, because it is manual sweep. I'll go ahead and turn off the manual sweep, or the motorized sweep. Turn the volume up. You can kind of get an idea. So I'm manually sweeping now. So you can see that it's a really good manual sweep to it. Alright, now I'll turn on the motorized sweep. Motorized sweep takes over. Turn up the volume a little bit. You can hear it. So, now this right here speeds up the motorized sweep rate. So you can actually speed it up or slow it down just like you can a digital one. But this is the very first motorized manual Spirit Box ever put out. So I wanted to come up with kind of a multitude of features that are already out there. But some of these aren't out there. There's a lot of unique things about this box. And I'll go into some of the new options that are available. So, first option is that this particular box actually has environmental sensors in it. Why is that good? Well, let's scoot my chair over a little bit. Environmental sensors such as static, temperature, and pressure, like our periscope line, the very popular periscope. You can actually integrate a periscope inside of here. It will look a little bit different because we're going to end up putting lights and things on it for the periscope feature. But what happens is you turn the motorized sweep off, you turn the periscope feature on, and when it detects static, the dial will turn based off how the static is, where the static is located. So if the periscope's up here and it's going left to right, it will actually move, and there's going to be a little pointer here, and you'll notice it says yes and no. So now you can ask yes and no questions in lieu of getting Spirit Box responses. And this will be totally controlled by their environment. So if you were to order the periscope and put it into here, then it would control this with the periscope, and it would light up accordingly, and the lights on the tubes would move exactly the same rate as the dial. Next would be temperature. You could do temperature variations like our temperscope. So we can integrate a temperscope in here, and this will actually turn with temperature. So you could have the Spirit, ask it to turn it temperature, and you can actually see temperature changes. Also pressure. You feel that heaviness in a room. Well, that's most likely it's pressure. I've done many studies where the pressure drops and everybody feels that heaviness. So this will actually detect the pressure too. I think the coolest part about this is we're going to also do a microphone mute function. Now inside these little tubes, there's microphones. These microphones are constantly hearing our voice, and depending on what feature you get, it'll do a lot of different options. For the standard box, which is this one, this actually has a mute function. This is your mute button. So let me let it sweep real quick. If you do a sweep, turn it on. There we go. You can actually push mute. Ask a question. Hello, is anyone there? And then push mute again. It just said locations near you. Is anybody there? Can you come talk to us? And so it's a very handy feature to have the mute, because it is a pretty loud box. You don't want to have to talk over. With this mute function, we also decided to take it a step further, and this is going to be one of the options you can change. We actually have, since this has a intelligent microcontroller in there, we can actually set that up to where it's going to detect your voice when you ask a question, and it'll automatically mute only your voice. So if it picks up your voice or anyone else is going to completely compare your voice or whoever's talking to the output of the box and know the difference and mute the box automatically. So you don't have to push the mute button if you don't want to. It's going to be a feature that you can add as an option, rather. Now, I think the coolest part for an option is that we're going to reverse broadcast your voice. In other words, what we're picking up on this particular box is FM frequencies, and it's sweeping through the FM frequencies, and there's a lot of theories out there on how it works. But basically, you're picking up FM frequencies, and it's stepping through those frequencies. What we're going to do is we're going to take these microphones and put an FM modulator in there that sweeps as well. Now, what an FM modulator does, it actually broadcasts your voice through the airwaves. So hopefully, since we're receiving the FM signal, we can send the FM signal back out with our voice, and they can pick it up. And it'll actually sweep through there. Now, if it does happen to land on the FM frequency for the sweep modulator, you'll actually hear your voice come through here. It could happen if they land on the same frequency. But so we're going to have a FM modulated microphone sweep. And that's going to be very interesting to see if, what results you get out of it. Now, there are choices. Like I said before, this is simulated bronze, which I really like the look of, but it did take some time to do. Simulated bronze, but you can also we offer real bronze and real copper. I might add that these are handles up here and also antennas. We do recommend holding them on both sides, but it is pretty strong. But the box is pretty heavy. I'd say maybe 5 or 6 pounds. So I haven't weighed it yet, but it does take 8 AA's. Let's see what this thing weighs. I'll put it on the scale real quick. All right, 4 pounds. So I was pretty close. So this particular box weighs 4 pounds with batteries, and there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, you have the amplifier, you have your stepper motor, you have the FM radio, which we're using a Radio Shack tuner. We've gone through probably 30 or 40 different radios trying to get the sound we want. So there is a lot of money involved in this box. Our prototype probably costs well over $2,000. But that's, in order to bring it to the public, you got to do those types of things. So we've brought it down to an affordable price for what it is. Below the stepper motor and the radio, you have your speakers. Now, these speakers actually have internal speaker boxes inside of here. So that's why they sound so good. Then you have, below that, you have your microcontroller, which is right here. And then we have LEDs on the microcontroller so you can see the sweep rate. And then below that, you have your 8 AA's. I highly recommend getting rechargeable AA's. You can actually add a optional power jack as well. But this thing will last you between 6 and 8 hours. And so it'll last you a full investigation, no problem. I think that's about it. There's probably some stuff I'm missing, but you can always email us at paranologies@yahoo.com. You can go to the website and live chat with me. I'm the owner, Jeremy. You may get one of our other employees, but they're very familiar with it as well. You can see all the little pieces. I mean, these are all 3D printed. We've done a lot with the design. I feel like it's a great design. And yeah, you can order the standard box, and you can send it back and get options in there. I forgot to go over the processor. Let me do that real quick. Let me turn this up a little bit. The mute was on. Okay, so the processor on the back. There's the processor. This is on, number one, this is just, you can set up your own banks. This has a ton of banks. So whatever you come up with, you can set it up. I mean, I went up to like 80. I don't think I'd ever use 80 different deals, but you never know. This one has a slight delay echo. It's 500 milliseconds. This one has a 1 second delay. And then this one is your... You gotta turn it down. This one I have set for just... it loops through the box. So this is bypassing this. And then, there's a lot of different deals. You can go in here and change your bass or treble. You can do your master volume through here. So, change all your master volumes. Save your presets here. You can edit. I mean, this has so much stuff. It has the compressor, extra amps, EQ, a gate, your effects, your delay, and your reverb. It's an incredible processor. That's another thing. We went through several processors trying to figure out what would be good, and we found out this would be the best. Then, of course, we had to get all of our pieces together and try to fit them in this box. It's actually pretty compact. Now, the way I do it, I hold it like this, and I hold it on up against my abdomen, and you can actually turn the sweep off, and you can manually sweep. But I'm sure once we get these out here, people will start doing their own thing. I think that's about it. Once again, it's got motorized sweep, manual sweep, adjustable sweep rate, volume, bass, treble, mute, stereo speakers, 30 hours of print time, 10 hours of build time. These are probably, even though there is 30 hours and 10 hours of build time, these are probably going to take probably about 2 to 3 weeks.